My boyfriend told me calmly, "You'd make a terrible wife. You don't have the strength real women have." He said it right after I discovered the hotel receipts. With his ex's initials on them, I just mailed those same receipts to his ex's husband with a simple note. You deserve the truth before she lies again. The next morning, my phone lit up nonstop. But the real shock came when someone else showed up at my door. I'm Elizabeth, 33, and until 2 weeks ago, I thought I was in a committed relationship heading toward marriage. Turns out I was just the stable option. While my boyfriend explored whether the grass was greener with his supposedly over ex-girlfriend, what he didn't count on was me actually having a backbone when it mattered. I'd been with Lucas for 3 years. We met at a friend's wedding, hit it off immediately, and fell into an easy rhythm. He was a marketing manager, ambitious and social. I liked that about him. He had drive. We talked about getting engaged soon, maybe next spring. His parents loved me. My parents loved him. Everything seemed to be heading in the right direction. About 2 months ago, Lucas started acting different. Not drastically, just small things. He was on his phone more, especially late at night. He'd go to the bathroom to take calls. He started picking fights about minor things. How I loaded the dishwasher. How I never wanted to go to the fancy restaurant he liked. How I was too comfortable and didn't challenge myself enough. I'm not an idiot. I know what those signs usually mean. But when I asked if something was wrong, he'd say he was just stressed about work, a big client, demanding deadlines, the usual. I wanted to believe him because the alternative was too painful to consider. Then came last Tuesday. Lucas was in the shower and his phone kept buzzing on the nightstand. I wasn't trying to snoop. I thought it might be important. Maybe his mom calling about dinner plans. I picked it up and saw texts from a contact saved as Jamie C. The messages were not from his mom. Last night was incredible. When can I see you again? And I can't stop thinking about you. My stomach dropped. I opened the conversation thread and scrolled up weeks of messages. Flirty at first, then explicit, then making plans, hotel names, times, excited emojis, and then I saw it. A photo she'd sent of a hotel room key card. I zoomed in on the receipt visible in the photo. The name on the credit card, Jamie Castellano. Jamie. Lucas's ex-girlfriend from before me. The one he'd dated for 2 years in his mid-20s. The one he said he'd outgrown. The one who was now married with a child. I heard the shower turn off. I quickly took photos of the text thread with my own phone, put his phone back exactly where it was, and left the bedroom. I went to the kitchen and started making coffee with shaking hands. Lucas came out 15 minutes later in his bathrobe, hair wrapped in a towel, smiling like nothing was wrong. "Morning, babe. Want to grab brunch today?" I looked at him. This man I'd spent 3 years with. This man I'd been planning a future with. "Sure," I said. Brunch sounds good. I needed time to think, to process, to figure out what to do with what I'd just discovered. We went to brunch. He talked about work, about his friend's baby shower next month, about wanting to repaint the living room. I nodded and made appropriate responses while my brain screamed at me to confront him. But I didn't. Not yet. That afternoon, while Lucas was at a yoga class, I did something I'm not proud of, but don't regret. I went through his laptop. He'd left it open on the dining table, still logged into his email. I searched for hotel confirmations and found them. 3 different hotels over the past 6 weeks. All confirmations sent to his email, all charged to his credit card. I took screenshots of everything and emailed them to myself. When Lucas got home, I was sitting on the couch with my laptop. He came over and kissed the top of my head. "What are you working on?" "Just catching up on some stuff," I said. Then I turned the laptop so he could see the screen. Hotel receipts all lined up. "Want to explain these?" His face went white, then red. Then he closed the laptop. "You went through my email?" "You're cheating on me with your married ex-girlfriend. Let's not pretend you have the moral high ground here." He sat down on the chair across from me, not next to me on the couch. That told me everything. "It's not what you think," he started. "It's exactly what I think. You've been sleeping with Jamie for at least 6 weeks, probably longer." I took a breath. "Elizabeth, does her husband know?" He looked away. "That's not my problem." "Not your problem. You're sleeping with a married woman and destroying her family, and it's not your problem." "Her marriage was already broken," he said quickly. "She told me they're basically roommates at this point." I laughed. Actually laughed. "And you believed her, Lucas. She's feeding you the oldest line in the book. You don't understand what Jamie and I have. It's different than what you and I have. It's passionate and exciting and she's married with a child, I finished. He stood up suddenly, angry. You know what? Maybe this is for the best. You and me, we're not right for each other, Elizabeth. You're too passive, too boring. You'd make a terrible wife. You don't have the strength real women have. I sat there absorbing that. The man I'd loved for 3 years had just called me weak and boring while defending his affair with a married woman. Get out, I said quietly. What? Get out of my apartment. We're done. Pack your stuff and leave. Elizabeth, I live here. The lease is in my name. You're not on it. I want you gone by tomorrow. He stared at me like he couldn't believe I was actually standing up to him. Then he grabbed his jacket and left, slamming the door behind him. I sat there for a long time. Then I did what needed to be done. That night, I looked up Jamie Castellano on social media. Found her easily. She wasn't even hard to find. Married to a man named Daniel. They had a 3-year-old daughter. Daniel's profile was public, full of family photos and posts about being a stay-at-home dad. He looked happy. He had no idea his wife was destroying their family. I printed out the hotel receipts, all of them. Wrote a simple note. Daniel, you deserve to know the truth before she lies to you again. Your wife Jamie has been having an affair with her ex-boyfriend, Lucas Mitchell. Here's the proof. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. A friend. I put it all in an envelope, addressed it to Daniel at the address listed on Jamie's business website, and mailed it the next morning. Lucas came by the next day to get his things. He'd been staying at a friend's place. We didn't speak much. He packed his clothes, his books, the kitchen gadgets he'd brought over the years. He moved quickly, avoiding my eyes, like if he didn't slow down, he wouldn't have to feel anything. When he was done, he stood by the door. I'm sorry it ended this way, he said. I'm not, I replied. Better now than after we were married. He opened his mouth like he wanted to argue, then closed it. He left. I changed the locks that afternoon. The next morning, Wednesday, exactly 1 week after I discovered everything, my phone started going crazy. Calls from unknown numbers. Texts from numbers I didn't recognize. Then a call from Lucas. I answered. What? He was screaming. What the hell did you do, Elizabeth? I don't know what you're talking about. You sent those receipts to Daniel. Jamie's husband knows everything. He's losing his mind. He's threatening divorce. What the hell is wrong with you? I told you it wasn't your problem, I said calmly. I made it your problem. You're vindictive and petty, he shouted. I hung up, blocked his number. Then Jamie called from a different number. I answered. You have some nerve, she snapped. Hi, Jamie, I said. How's married life? You had no right. Your husband had every right to know his wife was cheating on him. I gave him information he deserved to have. What he does with it is up to him. You've destroyed my family. No, I said evenly. You destroyed your family when you started sleeping with your ex-boyfriend. I just made sure your husband knew about it instead of living a lie. She called me several more names before I hung up and blocked that number too. Then there was a knock at my door. It was 9 a.m. on a Wednesday. I looked through the peephole and saw a man I didn't recognize. Early 30s, tired eyes, holding a child's backpack in one hand. I opened the door. Can I help you? Are you Elizabeth? Yes. I'm Daniel, he said quietly. Jamie's husband. I stepped back and let him in. He set the backpack down by the entryway. His daughter wasn't with him. She's at preschool, he said, almost apologetically, like he needed me to know he wasn't dragging her into this. We went to the living room. I got him a glass of water. His hands were shaking. Thank you for telling me, he said after a moment. I needed to know. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. Did you know about me? He asked. About our daughter? Not until I found out about the affair, I said. Then I looked her up. I saw your family photos. He nodded, rubbing his face. I suspected something was off. She'd been distant for months, working late, guarding her phone. But I trusted her. I thought we were happy. I thought the same thing about Lucas. How did you find out? I told him everything. The texts, the hotel receipts, Lucas's confession about passion and excitement. Daniel listened, staring at the floor. She told me she was attending conferences, he said quietly. Networking events. That's where she was all those nights. All those weekends she said she had client dinners. He laughed once, bitter and hollow, and I believed her, because I wanted to believe we were okay. What are you going to do? I asked. I've already contacted a lawyer, he said without hesitation. I'm filing for divorce. I want primary custody. I won't let her pretend this didn't happen. Good, I said. You deserve better. He looked up at me. So do you. He stayed for about 30 minutes, thanked me again before he left. I watched him walk to his car, shoulders hunched, like the weight of everything had settled there all at once. Over the next few days, the story spread through mutual friend groups. Lucas's reputation took a massive hit. People who'd been friends with both of us sided with me almost unanimously. Even his own friends were disgusted. Sleeping with a married woman, blowing up a family, then calling me weak for exposing it. Jamie apparently tried to convince Daniel it was all a misunderstanding, that I'd fabricated the receipts, but Lucas had already admitted everything to her in texts, and Daniel now had access to phone records through his lawyer. The evidence was overwhelming. Lucas tried to reach out one more time through his friend Ashley. Ashley called me. Elizabeth, Lucas wanted me to tell you he's sorry. He says he was confused and made a terrible mistake. He can be sorry, I said. That's fine, but we're done completely. He wants to talk to you, to explain. There's nothing to explain, I said. He cheated on me with a married woman and called me weak when I found out. Those are the facts. Ashley was quiet for a moment. You're right, she said finally. I'm sorry he put you through this. For what it's worth, most of us think you handled this really well. Thanks, Ashley. 6 weeks passed. The divorce between Jamie and Daniel moved forward quickly. Daniel's lawyer was relentless. Jamie was going to lose almost everything. Her reputation at work took a hit too. Turns out using company credit cards to book hotel rooms for your affair is frowned upon. She was demoted. Lucas moved out of state 3 weeks later. He got a job transfer, supposedly to avoid the social fallout. Before he left, he sent me one final email. No apology, just justification. He said I'd never understand what he and Jamie had, that I was too rigid and judgmental to appreciate real passion. He said he hoped I found someone who appreciated my simple nature. I didn't respond. Daniel and I stayed in touch, strangely enough. Not romantically. We were both too wrecked for that. But as friends who'd been blindsided by the same betrayal, we checked in on each other. He sent me photos of his daughter sometimes, updates on the divorce. We met for coffee once. It was comforting to talk to someone who understood without explanation. My friends kept asking if I regretted sending those receipts, if I thought I went too far. I didn't. Daniel deserved to know. His daughter deserved a parent who wasn't living a lie, and Lucas and Jamie deserved to face consequences for their choices. Some people said I did it out of revenge, and maybe there was a piece of that, but mostly I did it because it was the right thing to do. Daniel was raising a child with a woman who was betraying him. He had a right to make informed decisions about his life. I started dating again, slowly, carefully, nothing serious yet. I paid attention to red flags. I trusted my instincts. When something feels off, it probably is. 4 months later, I was doing better than well. I got promoted at work. I traveled more. Colorado last month. Ireland in the spring. I lived without someone constantly criticizing me for not being exciting enough. Daniel's divorce was finalized 2 weeks ago. He got primary custody, the house, and substantial child support. Jamie tried to fight it, but her lawyer advised her to settle. A trial would have been catastrophic. According to mutual friends, Jamie and Lucas broke up when she realized he wasn't going to rebuild his life around her. She started posting on social media about toxic partners and self-discovery. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Last week, I ran into Lucas at a coffee shop downtown. He looked tired, smaller somehow. We made eye contact. For a second, I thought he might say something. He didn't. He looked away and left. Part of me felt sorry for him. He'd lost his relationship, his reputation, his comfort. But then I remembered he'd chosen every step that led there. He chose to cheat. He chose to lie. He chose to call me weak. I just made sure those choices had consequences. Daniel sent me a photo yesterday. He and his daughter at the park, both smiling. The caption said, "New beginnings." That's what this was about, not revenge. Truth. Lucas said I didn't have the strength real women have. He was wrong. Real strength isn't about passion or excitement. It's about integrity, about doing the right thing even when it costs you something. It's about choosing honesty over comfort, about refusing to protect someone else's lie at the expense of your own self-respect. I didn't win anything in this. I lost the future I thought I was building. I lost the version of Lucas I believed in. I lost time, trust, and a sense of safety. I didn't realize I valued so much until it was gone. But I gained clarity. I gained the knowledge that when I was tested, when I was humiliated and betrayed, I didn't shrink. I didn't stay silent. I didn't let someone rewrite the truth to make themselves feel better. I stood up. And if that makes me too rigid, too boring, or too simple in someone else's story, I'm fine with that. Because in my own, I did the right thing.